for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's up guys, Venom Fire here back with a video, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Madden 21 money play. You guys always usually show some nice support on these types of videos, showing me that you want to see some new ones. So we're going to go back to one that I actually did touch up on very early in the year. It was around the time that Next Gen came out, so early December if I remember correctly. But we're going to update it. Of course, most of you guys are running current gen. And we're going to be running this PA zone read play out of the run and gun doubles, I believe. I believe it's the run and gun playbook that we're going to be in, not the run and shoot. A lot of you guys did suggest me to make a full scheme on this, so if you show support on this one, you let me know in the comment section. I can drop probably a gameplay while I'll be running this gun doubles formation. But we're going to be running this PA zone read play. It is the best play in the entire offense. There's a couple of weird things with it. I will say that the player is pretty weird, and the biggest reason is the route on the right hand side shows that it's going shorter. The route on the left shows that it's going deeper. That's not the case when you'll see when we actually hop into the play, so just kind of weird there. But we're not really going to be using any abilities in today's gameplay. We're just going to be rocking with the Broncos, and they don't have any abilities, so we'll just create some cool route combos with the play. Again, a lot of you guys probably do run this formation from what I've seen, so that'll be helpful for you as well. Anyways, here we are out on the field, hopping into the setup, and what I was kind of talking about with the play art, because you guys might have not understood what I was exactly saying. What I was saying with the play art is you take a look from the play call screen, and it shows that Courtland Sutton's route is going to go like deeper than Tim Patrick on the right-hand side, but of course when you actually come out in the play and look at the play art, Tim Patrick is going deeper. He's going to act as kind of a deeper post, but he's going to be a little bit better than the deeper post, which is what we want. We're going to be mainly focusing in on Courtland Sutton's routes, and of course Tim Patrick, creating some cool route combinations. And to start off, we're going to run something kind of stock. And of course I could actually just come out here, run this play stock, and it would not be the worst thing in the world. You have two drags, you have kind of a deep post and a crosser, so of course not the worst thing in the world. Pretty good against man coverage. Of course I'm just going to be running zone coverage, but you see it wouldn't be terrible. The next way we're going to run it is going to be Y on a slant and A just on a flat. Of course I can go out route. I like to go flat a little bit better though. This setup is not the worst thing. I can leave the play action. Of course, I can block my running back if I want to. Right there, you see the flat's usually going to be opened up quickly. Also, you want to make sure that your tight end is going to be on the wide side of the field. That's usually how I run it. I like to have more spacing to my two wide receiver side. Of course, I believe this is probably the best way to run it, and this is the way I would recommend it to you guys. But again, going back to the setup, you got Y on a slant, A on a flat. Of course, if I want to, I can block my running back like I just mentioned, but just take a look at the routes with B. You see B there. Now, that was a pretty good play by the linebacker, but you see how he can kind of get into a soft spot of the zone. So we'll kind of be going back to that. Of course, we're going to go back to the setup. You see Y on a little slant route can get open, potentially over the top. It really just depends on the type of coverage that you're actually going to see. Of course, this is not my favorite setup. This is one that I don't really even run that much, but it is something that I wanted to show you guys. The next step to the setup, which is something I'll go to a little bit more, is to put Y on a slant and actually motion him across. I'll kind of keep the same routes, but this is just going to give you a lot better spacing if you ask me. Of course, that crosser is usually going to be open. Really, it's just a matter of getting enough time to actually be able to roll out, or getting enough time to actually be able to throw that before you ultimately get hit. Again, this is a 4-man rush that we're running, so we are going to get a little less time than typically you would, but still not the worst thing in the world. So again, that setup, A on a flat, Y on a slant. Again, I prefer, as you saw there, to motion him across. This just, I feel like, gives us a little bit better spacing, kind of simulates a trips look. There you see we have a lot more space to be able to throw that pass to Tim Patrick. And we'll kind of address the issue of them potentially kind of running into each other. We'll get a lot of diverse setups just in case you're running into an issue. Usually one of these setups will work against every single coverage. There will be a good amount of setups for this particular play. We'll show it one more time with this one. Again, Y on that slant route, we're going to motion him over, snap the ball, and there you see it. Of course, I can kind of get out of the pocket, throw it to X. And because he's the outside receiver, again, the hash mark really doesn't make a big difference. If I were on the left hash, again, he's still going to be on the wide side of the field or the outside, so it won't really make a difference anyway. But that's where we're going to go into our next part. Let's say you have no time to get the ball off. And if I have no time to get the ball off, what I'm going to do is go to a max protect. I'm going to put RB on a block. I'm going to delay fade A, which means he's pretty much blocking, but it could allow me to get out of the pocket in a crosser type of play. That's something that I'm probably going to want to do regardless. But hop into the setup, you can actually motion Courtland Sutton in. So this is something that I like to do. When I'm running the whole scheme, you'll see me also kind of go to something like this, just to disguise the play as some other things, other plays that I'll be running. But you're just going to motion the crosser in. This is going to mean that you need a lot less time to do it. Of course, you're max protect, but also with Y, he's on a drag. I usually throw him on like an in route. I just like it a little bit better. As far as the other routes, we can leave them. Of course, the crosser and the steep post won't really run into each other because he's a little bit closer. There you see the crosser's open, the in route's open. So this is definitely one of my favorite ways to run it personally. Very difficult to stop and just kind of a basic setup that is going to be pretty good for you. Of course, if I wanted to, I would usually put playmaker on Jerry Jeudy right here. That would be my thought process behind it, but I can kind of roll out. I can release A as well, throw it to him right there. I can throw the cross, or I can throw the drag. I can kind of playmaker him back. Maybe if it's man coverage, I can hit that deep post a little bit later in the play. So you definitely have options with this type of a play art. We'll show it just one more time here. Again, Y on the in route. If I want to, of course, I can just put B on like a little streak. Again, I don't think there's really a reason to put him on a streak because the clear out's going to kind of act as the same, but if that's something that you like to do, that's certainly an option as well. But let's move into our next setup. With our next setup, what I like to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put A on a delay fade again. I'm going to put Y on a little zig, RB on a option route, and then with X, I can either, for the first part of this, I'm going to actually leave X, but we'll do something else with him. Now, the setup is definitely not terrible. I'm kind of creating like a Y sail type of a setup. We have Y on that little zig, RB on an option. We're blocking our tight end again. And this is not the worst setup in the world. You see, they're kind of just gives us pretty good spacing on the field. Opens up X a little bit more than usual. The reason for that is that the field's just a little bit more spread out. So, of course, the middle is going to be a little bit more open there. You see the linebacker is going to kind of go outside immediately. That's going to open up Courtland Sutton for us. Let's say he's kind of all over our crosser route. What I'm going to do instead for the next thing is, instead of doing that, I'm going to put him on these in routes. So I'm going to put him on an in route. I'm going to smart route it, something like this. This will, of course, open up Tim Patrick's route a little bit more, which you would kind of expect. Of course, no gunslinger, low ball. It's going to take a little bit of time for Drew Lock to get the ball out. Typically, any other quarterback with gunslinger is going to get that ball off very, very quickly. So, no, not really a concern for that. And of course, this is just going to open up B more. When you have X and B, they're kind of running into each other. It makes them both kind of easier to drag. So if you want to single one or the other out, this is a good setup. Of course, I can still hit X, but the in route against like two hook curl zones not going to get as open. Usually in game, there's going to be one user in the middle of the field. It's going to be him. He's going to have to choose between B or X in this case. And with X, I can kind of lowball him on break against man coverage. Of course, both of these routes are going to be really good against man coverage, and this setup in particular is going to be pretty solid as well. So again, here's the other way to run it. Just this first way. You see, even with quick pressure, that route's pretty quick to develop, similar to that circle play out of gun spread Y flex. So you can have some pretty solid success with this against every single coverage in the game as well. So this is just going to be another basic way to run it. The next way that I kind of like to do it is going back to this first setup that I ran, kind of similar. We're just going to change up a route. I like to go ahead flat A. I'm going to actually put B on a little curl route, and I'm just going to slant Y. So we're going to go with something like this. I'm going to motion Jeudy across. And this setup's just kind of a sound, basic type of a setup. Again, just some decent spacing across the field. You got X, you got Y, then you have kind of a basic curl flat. This is going to be good against man coverage as well. Cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, match coverage, pretty much everything. So we're going to use this play to our advantage. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the curl flats on the short side of the field. You notice when I do motion Jeudy over, Tim Patrick steps out just a step. Of course, not the worst thing in the world. You see the flat's still going to be pretty open. Even with the bad rat catch animation, you should be able to pick up a decent amount of yards there. But again, just some new stuff. Space the field a little bit. Again, you can put B on a little curl. Just basic stuff. And again, sometimes keeping things simple is a little bit better in this game. So that's the reason that I kind of go to it. Again, we're just going to motion fan over and just create something like this. Last but not least, another setup I have is going to be just kind of a quick snap type of setup. I'm going to put A on a little out route. I'm going to smart route him. Now, if I have hot route master, I could also corner route A. I don't have that right now, so we're just going to put him on this out route, smart route him. And then I'm just going to put Y on a little drag. We already have him on a drag. We're just going to make it a little bit shorter. And this would be just another way to run it. Just create a little flood concept. Again, depending on how the zones are set up, of course, I do highly recommend the corner route a lot better than this out route, but the out route still can be successful. It would probably be even better if it was on the wide side of the field, but again, not terrible as far as that's concerned. You see it can take attention off X and B, bring attention completely to the right side of the field. That could open up either the crosser or something else on your field. And overall, just not something that is the worst thing. Again, just giving you guys some options. I want to give you a lot of options for this money play, especially when a lot of you guys probably don't run gun doubles that much, I would assume. There you see again, the bullet pass, X and B are open. If you need something deeper, you can throw it to X. If it's shallow, it's good. You can throw it to that X wide receiver in Cortland Sutton. Now, I want to give you guys one last setup here. And what I'm pretty much going to do is just go over to the short side of the field just to give us a new look. And what I'm going to do is put our B on a wheel. I'm going to put B on a little out route. I'm going to go ahead, block A, and put Y on a little slant. So here's this. I can also delay fade A as core. Of course, whenever I'm blocking him, I can delay fade him. But Y on a slant, we're going to motion him across RB. This wheel route combination is always good against zone coverage, you see. It's just going to open up Philip Lindsay, even though when we motion him, he actually comes inside when you're on the short side of the field. Not an issue. We're able to complete that. So again, here's a look at the setup. Again, just Y on a slant, A on delay fade, B on an out route. Again, the wheel route's going to be open against zone. This is mainly a zone coverage beater, but you have the slant, you have the crosser still. So you certainly still do have some options. And overall, just something that can be pretty successful and something that you don't see a lot. A lot of people will run something like this out of single back. You don't see too much of this route combo out of like a spread set, but it's definitely solid. And you can kind of step up in the pocket, throw it to him. It's just an easy read for you to make. Usually it's going to be open if there's no one over there because hook curls don't defend it, as you see right here. No flat zone's going to defend it as well, so it's pretty good against double flat as well because you also do have something that's holding down the sidelines. But that's pretty much going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, make sure you smack a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and peace. I'm out of here.